brief introduction. From reading these articles, we have learned that management control systems are dynamic in nature. We learned in the Mundy case that management control systems fulfill two roles, enabling and controlling. These two roles need to be balanced for the long-term efficiency of the business. However, as you will see, they can be manipulated to achieve short-term goals. Collier highlighted that leaders' personalities are reflected in the management control system that they employ. They can also shape the workforce through the use of the management control systems. A central theme in the Mundy article is that management control systems are dynamic in nature, much like the world around us. This is logical as the businesses and the economy evolves and changes. So too should the management control systems that allow companies to operate effectively. Julia Mundy based her paper around the central idea of balancing control systems. Mundy outlines the idea that management control systems have two roles. They are controlling and enabling. The utilization of these two roles have a large effect upon the workforce. Using controlling management systems, it aims to reduce information asymmetry, makes everyday decisions easier by providing framework, enhancing the predictability and formality. However, it can negatively affect a workforce's ability to make complicated decisions, be innovative, and adapt to different situations. The lever control framework has proven to be a useful tool in analysing the concept of balance and tension between different uses of management control systems. The lever controls are belief systems, boundary system, diagnostic systems, and interactive control systems. The use of these levers is believed to balance the roles of enabling and controlling, enabling management to give employees the freedom that encourages innovative ideas whilst also ensuring efficiency and structure remain at the forefront of the business. In reality, the achievement of such balance is extremely difficult, if ever perfectly achieved. We see an example in the case study provided by Mundy in that the IT division attempts to satisfy its short-term goals by emphasizing diagnostic processes inhibited its long-term performances by limited innovation. In the case study, a director notes that we have cycles where we get more controlling and then have cycles where we get less controlling. There was also an inconsistency between FinServ's users of levers in the short-term goals versus long-term goals. This indicates the dynamic and ever-evolving nature of the businesses and the need for management to adapt. If I were to summarize what we learned from this article succinctly, it would be that management control systems play dual roles in enabling and controlling, which need to be balanced in order to maximize its business efficiency. The nature of business makes this a significant challenge, and from this comes a dynamic tension that precedes unique organizational capabilities.
Applying this to the Hare article, we can examine another case study where the levers or controls are used. The CEO of Hare, Mr. Tseng, believed that intangibles are more valuable than tangibles. Therefore, he centered his core culture and thus his management control systems around this idea. We see that Hare's culture evolved as the company grew, shifting from being process-focused to people-focused. Process-focused requires a heavier use of diagnostics and boundary control systems. As a growing company, Tseng had to first get his untrained workers up to standard. An example of boundary control systems from the Hare case was that Tseng set up certain rules with which to bring discipline to the workforce and establish a working culture in the factory. He also imposed strict management control on quality and after-sales service, a use of diagnostic control system. Mundy's article outlines that the use of these types of control systems can promote efficiency of resources in the short term and effectively utilize unskilled workers by simplifying decision-making and the work required. The emphasis on the controlling aspects, however, stunts the enabling role that MCS can play. The emphasis on controlling is to be expected given the circumstances of Tseng's takeover.
An unbalanced management control system that focused on employees helped Tseng achieve his short-term goal of establishing the ground rules of the company. However, in the long term, as Mundy noted, management control systems need to be more balanced. As the business grew, Tseng was able to emphasize his preferred culture of innovation. Project managers were motivated to devise new sales strategies, since their incomes were closely tied to the product sales. By emphasizing belief systems, Tseng began to shift his management focus as his business changed, reflecting the dynamic and ever-changing nature of management referred to by Mundy. The main idea from Mundy was that the dual roles of management control systems, enabling and controlling, are dynamic and require balance for business efficiency in the long term. However, we can also see in Hire that the manipulation of management control systems roles can greatly affect the achievement of short-term goals.
The Collier article details the impact that entrepreneurs can have on management and accounting practices. Entrepreneurs are often uber-talented business minds that also tend to be very controlling of their business ventures. They serve as a linchpin that holds their dream together. This is exactly the case in the study detailed by Collier, where the entrepreneur involved was T&Z, a packaging equipment supplier, was reluctant to even hire an internal accountant, instead preferring to create his own spreadsheet from which to base his financial and business decisions. The key idea from what we drew from this article was that the personality of an entrepreneur or leader can have a very large impact upon the management style employed by the organisation. We can see in the field of study that Taylor was not a large proprietor of having monthly reports, as he was solely focused on long-term growth in order to maximise market share before his patent ran out.
Tseng's emphasis on empowering workers was considered alternative at the time, but it was this alternative thinking that brought Haier out of mediocrity in China, above the other manufacturing companies who merely focused on output values and utilised a more control-orientated system. We can see through the Haier case Collier's idea that leaders' use of control systems reflect their personalities. The use of these control systems is a powerful tool for business leaders to achieve their goals. Through the field study, Collier came to the conclusion that the levers of control framework found in both Mundy's and the Haier case reflect the unique style of management exercised by Taylor. Taylor displayed a social control through his continuous travel, phone calls, and social events that communicated his beliefs to his employees. The spreadsheet, developed and used by Taylor, was also a prime example of a boundary system being utilised. These management controls come as a reflection of Taylor himself as a driven, intelligent, and ultimately wildly successful entrepreneur. If we apply this to the Haier case, we can also see the effect on management systems that owners can have. Tseng's personal emphasis on intangibles and innovation had a trickle-down effect to his workers via the management control systems that he initiated and subsequently developed. One of Tseng's life principles was gentleness can overcome strength. This was reflected in his empowerment of his employees when they were encouraged to generate additional value for the company, believing that every employee was an owner of the business. Another example of empowerment was getting his team to think outside the box. Tseng provided a set of footprints where a worker could stand and give their solution to a problem. Haier did not want its workers to become mindless in their work and encouraged them to solve problems at the end of the day by coming together and running through the processes once again until it uncovered the underlying reasons for failure. This reflects his attitude of innovation. Tseng's emphasis on empowering workers was considered alternative at the time, but it was this alternative thinking that brought Haier out of mediocrity in China above the other manufacturing companies who merely focused on output values and utilised a more control-orientated system. We can see through application of the Haier case Collier's idea that
We chose these 2 points as they highlighted to us the often unpredictable and certainly ever-changing state of management accounting. We believe that these points will be useful in transferring to our chosen careers. The common thread between the 2 points is the idea that management control system is not a one-size-fits-all type of system. It should be catered to different businesses in their different market stages and cultures. As we saw in the Collier case, Taylor disregarded what had been established as common practice in exchange for management systems designed around him and his personality. Mundy also displayed that the management controls need to be continuously monitored and improved in accordance with the changing business environments. To conclude, we have outlined how management control systems can be implemented in accordance to the organization's goal. As we have seen in the hire case, Tseng manipulated the controlling and enabling roles to achieve short-term and long-term goals of his business. These management control systems can reflect the leader's approach to the business. We have seen evidence of this through the Collier and Hire case study. We believe that learning from these articles can help us with our future careers as both financial and management accountants, as it shows the many aspects and uses of management control systems.